talk about losing weight, shall we? All right. So I don't know if it's clarity or revelation or what. It's just sometimes message or information has to come with experience. Like there's so many things that we've heard about dieting and losing weight and how you do this. You eat this, you don't eat that. You do this and you don't do that. And we flip flop and flip flop. We try all these different diets, and it'll last for a couple of weeks or whatever, and then we fall off the track, and then we forget what we've done, and then we do something else again, and it's like a vicious cycle, a vicious cycle. So we don't really truly know what works and what we're doing that we need to do that works for our body in order to lose the weight. So in my situation, I feel like I've been working on losing this weight for like 3 decades now. 3 decades. I was small. When I was in high school, I was rather slim. Naturally, because we ate from home. It was cooked food. No dining out. That was very rare. So we ate from home, cooked food. So I was very naturally slim. I didn't have to do much of anything. We did walk to school and so on. So it was nothing. It wasn't a problem. It did become a problem with me after getting out of high school. When I left high school, I moved in with a roommate, and that's when I moved out, and that's when I started to eat fast foods. I knew nothing about fast foods other than that I liked it and it was good and I can eat it. But anything about portion size or anything like that, I had no clue. And this is when I put on the weight. Within a year, I went from healthy to practically diabetic. So what happened was, on my own, had my own place and working. So I was like, okay, I'm going to get Chinese for dinner. This is literally how it went with me. I'm going to get Chinese for dinner. So I would, you know how they put the food in cartons, right? I would get the honey, chicken, and all that. Me, not knowing any of this stuff about fast food, that would be one meal. Like, okay, I would eat that whole container. Now, mind you, these containers of food is not just for one person. This can actually feed up to 4 people, these containers sometimes. So, but I was eating that one container for, let's say, lunch. And then for dinner, I want some pizza. So I would get some pizza. And then, I want a dessert. Thinking, this is home. You have 3 meals and dessert. Yeah. Oh, yeah, I practically eat half of a pizza and then ice cream for dessert. It was wicked. I literally went from a size 6'8" to all the way to I think it was 14, 16 within 1 year. And I had to actually, I was losing my mind. I was so depressed. I fell into utter depression. I was living by myself. So I was doing this stuff, never associating it necessarily with food, but I had to go to the doctor and they were like, you're diagnosed with, pre-diabetic and so on. And they put me on the medication. And then, and then a diet, right? A diet, here we go. So now I did this and I started to deflate, especially the Atkins diet at that time. So I lost the weight and got off the medication. But then slowly, not knowing, not understanding anything really, is just, okay, you get on the medication, do a diet. You can't sustain the diet, so you go back off the diet and you go back to regular eating because you didn't realize at the time that it was the eating, what you were eating was what the problem was. So anyway, I got into really bad habits of dieting now. Now we're in the diet phase. Okay, we exercise a lot, and then I can eat whatever I want. So I would exercise and still eat whatever. At the time I was really young, so you have that young body, so that it can retract really quickly. So I would be fluctuating in weight. I would go up, I would go down, I would go up, I would go down. And then eat differently, eat this way, and then they say, you have vegetables this way. And I would go, it's a roller coaster ride, literally a roller coaster ride. And this literally has been up till even now. And the depression that I've experienced trying to lose this weight has been so detrimental. And it's been so detrimental, not only, the emotional stress, but honestly, your whole psyche is depressed because you're doing it. You're doing what they're saying to do. You're doing the diets, you're eating this, you're eating that, and you're not losing the weight. It's not consistent. It's not consistent, and you start to feel like a failure because at this age of mine, 30 years later, I'm still working on losing the weight. I would put on the weight, lose the weight, put on the weight, and not lose weight. I would fast. Oh my gosh. When fasting first started, I was the one doing it back then. I was fasting and I would lose inches, but never the weight. The scale would not move. And I was like, wait a minute, I'm looking like I'm losing weight, but there's nothing happening. So I would just be starving myself. And then I got to the point where I was eating one meal a day and starving myself. And then after I got that, I blew up. And then, and then I would do another diet. And it's just the cycle kept repeating itself. One new thing after the other. One new thing after the other. And so every year I would promise myself, I'm going to lose this weight, I'm going to lose this weight, and I would fail. And so I would get into this loop, this constant loop every time. Oh, I'm going to fast. Oh, I need to do a cleanse. Oh, I need to cleanse this. And oh my gosh, it's ongoing. Well, up until even this week, this is 2026, my birthday. Another year that I did not realize the body that I wanted. Another year where I felt like a failure and just completely depressed, which causes you to stay in because you're not happy. You're not happy with your body and you're not confident. Loss of confidence. You just don't feel beautiful. You just don't feel comfortable in your own skin. Another year. Every year I would tell myself and then I would fail. And I would beat myself up and everything. And so this is a constant go around that I found that I was doing. And every year on my birthday I assess myself and I really give myself some talk. And prior to my birthday this week, I'm still working on trying to see what's working, what's not working, and really regulating my nervous system and doing breath work and all of this. And I came up to this is what worked, or this is what's working. One, I'm consistent with my exercise. I exercise practically 5-6 days a week, 7 days sometimes 2 times a day. I'm consistent with the exercise. The problem was never the exercise, okay? Let me assess what the problem is with me, and I'm telling you, my body is inflamed, like literally swollen. My belly's, once I turn, by the way, I'm 55 today, and once I turned 50, it looked like my belly just swelled up and never went down. I was like, what is happening? And this is, mind you, this is a person that is consistently exercising. I'm talking about in the gym. With the exception of a year, I got stuck in an office job, and so on. That doesn't count. My health declined immensely, but apart from that, exercise constantly, working on eating diet and changing diets and all that kind of stuff constantly. But I would actually put on weight, not lose weight. Put on weight. Can you imagine? I'm putting on weight as opposed to losing weight, no matter what I was doing. So can you imagine the frustration and the depression that is felt when you try and never succeed? It becomes a real psychological loop in your emotions and your thought processes. It's devastating. So I came upon some. Let me tell you what I was doing. I was changing up diets and everything. And one thing I would not give up, I would always try to find a way to put it into my diet. Let's say if you're counting calories, you put it in the count. Or if you are doing protein, but then you you put it there in your eating. That was, for me, it was chips. It was chips, and let me tell you, Starlight peppermints. Like Starlight peppermints is it was a whole meal in itself. I could literally eat a bag. So to in my mind, now this is where the mentality programming comes into play when losing weight, how important it is that we deal with our thought process and what we identify with when it comes to food and how we look. In, in my mind, I could not assimilate or agree to the part where it says, okay, you only eat protein and you don't have carbs, or you only eat vegetables and you don't have protein, you don't have meats. It was very difficult for me to accept that, okay? Because I'm like, no, that's not even life. That's not even realistic. I need some sweets. I need delicate, treats. I need some salt. My system was all very much addicted to the sweet and sour. So, for example, I would eat very healthy, but I would even it's just like little bags of chips. I'm talking about the 50-cent bags of chips. Like sometimes you just feel for something salty, and I would reach, and sometimes it'll be the healthy chips too, like the baked, not fried chips. So I would eat, like, I have to have it, like, especially at night. Like I would need a bag of chips, right? And then I'll have to counteract it with something sweet, and usually it's peppermint. Like peppermint is like my cooling remedy because I feel like I run hot internally, and peppermint seemed to soothe me emotionally and as well as physically. Like it really just and it was the candy. I even tried doing the tea, but that didn't have enough sugar in it for me. So it was the peppermint candy that really satisfied me. And the funny thing was, when I had it, I fell asleep and I slept well. When I didn't have snacks, I didn't sleep so well. So which is something strange. So I would kind of realize, okay, well, maybe not so much chips, but maybe I'll have fruits and I'll exchange it. No worries, but I always went back to it. I have to say, I always went back to it, or I would binge on it on one day out of the week or during the weekend. I found a way to kind of like put it in my my diet, and particularly why is because my mentality was, there's no way that people are going to not have these things in life. Like this is just the sweetness of life. You got to be able to eat some sweets. You got to be able to eat some snacks. Like, how do you go without that? Like, I don't get it. I don't understand how people go without snacks. I did not register that in my brain whatsoever. It's like I would fight you if you tell me I'm just going to have to eat fruits and meat, all vegetables and meat all my life, and I don't get any cakes or ice cream or anything. I would like the hell. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. I can do it. They say they count calories. Well, part of my calories was a bag of chips of 150 calories. Surprisingly enough, and this is something I assess. This is just my theory. This is how I'm perceiving things. I listen to all these podcasts and all these gurus talk about diet food and all that kind of things, and I would come across some things. And that you've heard that the majority of this food is chemicals. I truly believe, and mind you, I was like, I would eat healthy and just with maybe a cookie here and this, that. It wasn't enough to me in my mind when I looked at it. It wasn't enough to say, well, how does that calculate with you being so fat and overweight? Where is that coming from? You're eating so healthy, but yet you have a little snack. Why are you so overweight? Why are you putting on weight? It just the numbers didn't make sense. It did not make sense whatsoever. So I'm like, and this is recent, mind you, within the week. It has to be, and this is a revelation actually today, that these chips and these candies and cookies and all that, I truly believe, again, my theory, that they, once eaten and quote unquote digested in the system becomes a glue or plastic in your system. This is what has come up in my mind, because how are we getting inflamed? Why is everybody so inflamed and cortisol is off? I was like, why? I mean, I eat fairly healthy and have a little snack. What is that? Why am I inflamed and cortisol is off and I'm doing all the right things? I'm walking, I'm doing the neck. There's something wrong. And this is what I concluded. I concluded basically that these snacks, although small, so perceived, they turn into glue in the system. And it's very difficult to melt the glue and digest it and eliminate that glue. So it causes problem in the system. This is what I'm perceiving. Again, this is just theory. And so that's why even the little bit causes great harm in that digestive tract. So, okay, so this is the theory that I'm perceiving. And I have literally removed that out of my diet. The only thing that I have in place of that is seaweed, and I'm okay with that, the seaweed. I frequent the Asian stores, and one of the snacks is seaweed, and that's very good for iron. So and I don't even have that often. So I'm sticking with that. However, what has completely changed the dynamics of my diet or my eating, the way of eating that I can completely align with, is healthy snacks. And when I say healthy, I'm not talking about healthy baked chips. I'm not talking about that. In my mind, when they said healthy snacks, that's what I perceived healthy snacks was. Is like, oh, okay, you have some yogurt and such, and you have some baked chips. No. Healthy snacks require protein, because what we're lacking is protein, the amino acids, the minerals. So I came across some videos just randomly, so I think, and one video was of the first video that I encountered was a person showing you how to make naan bread, naan, Naan, and it's unleavened bread, basically. And it was so easy. Okay, put some chickpeas, put an egg, put a little salt, and then fry it, and then you have nice little unleavened bread. And I love bread, and that was something that I really had to slow down from. But I couldn't lie. It's like I can't see. I have to have some toast. So when I saw that video, I was like, oh, I have these ingredients in my pantry right now. Why don't I try it? That was the beginning to the end of my struggle with the mindset that I have to have something sweet. I have to have desserts. I have to have snacks in order to survive. Just with that initial baking, I was like, this is so easy. Why the hell will I buy bread ever again? Why? I literally can make it on my own. I have that with eggs and sausage, maybe, and some spinach, whatever, fruit, vegetables, whatever. And that's and that's a lot of protein because it's based with chickpeas and eggs. So I was like, oh, okay, I did that. And then I came on to some more. You know how the algorithm works. When you accept one, they bring you more. Oh, you can make chickpea pudding. Chickpea pudding, and it's so easy to make. You do this and you do that and you do this, and there you have pudding. Or you can make chickpea cupcakes and cakes. I was like, huh? I can do this. It's so easy. 3 ingredients and you're out. That catapulted my whole mindset change, which thereby caused a physical change. So literally now, I can see how people can just do protein. Why? Because all you have to do is make sure that if you're a snacker like me, like me, a meal. You tend to be healthy anyway. You have your healthy meals, but the problem is the snacking. Just replace it with protein snacks that you make on your own very easily. And let me tell you, it is filling. Like just a half cup of a chickpea pudding will literally fill you up. And you're like, what did I just eat? It will literally fill you up. And let me tell you, from here forth, I am healthy and skinny. I'm healthy and skinny. I can do this. I have confidence now that I can go on and eat healthy, literally healthy for the rest of my life because I found the trick. I found the trick. I found the secret. You know, they tell you it, but for some reason it didn't register. So I have the secret now. You eat your proteins, your vegetables, you know, occasional fruits, you know, now and then in a smoothie, whatever. But on the majority, it's just protein and fiber. And I feel a sense of confidence now. I feel a sense of rejuvenation, a sense of possibilities, as opposed to before where I'm just literally hopeless, literally screaming at myself and fighting myself and hating myself and telling myself how stupid you are and how unable that you are able to lose weight, and everybody around you is losing weight. You've been doing this for a whole year and nothing. You actually put on weight. What the hell? And I mean, how devastating it is in your psyche to experience that. If you understand what I'm saying, comment, please. I need to hear. I need to hear reverb. I need to hear back to hear that what I'm saying you understand, because it is literally people will commit suicide and I hate to say that word, will off themselves because they've gotten to a point where they've tried so much and it's like a losing battle, and it's literally affecting you, and you feel hopeless. You feel like a failure, a constant failure. Can you imagine you telling yourself day in, day out, like you're a failure, you can't do this, you really truly believe it because your outward expression has shown it, despite what you're doing, despite doing the really good things and exercising and eating better, so you think. And just because you have a little bag of chips and a little cookies and a little this there, how could that be possible that you're putting on weight? What would that cost? Even when you're counting calories. So I admonish you, to those of you who are dealing with weight loss, be encouraged. Be encouraged. You can do it. It's not you. It really, really, truly is the food. It's not even the exercise. Exercise is good to help you to have clarity, to really make you feel good. But at the same time, it's the food. It is the food, people. It is the food. We are eating so-called quote-unquote food, and we have to adjust our food intake to reflect what it is that our goal. And it has eluded us for some reason, but we can make our own desserts very easily. And that's the thing too. Convenience has really destroyed us, to be honest. We think that going to a store, picking up something and eating it, that's convenience. But in actuality, it is so easy to make it on your own, in your own way, knowing exactly what's in it, and it be filling and it be healthy. And that's actually more convenient than just buying it through the store. But this is what I've coming to find out. Again, we will go through this process together. This is my revelation for today. I have started it this week, or I should say last week, and now I'm going to continue. I did have, I had thrown away so much food in the past decades that I was like, let me finish whatever is in my fridge, and then start. So I did have to eliminate a lot of the carbs and all that, but we know Right now, we know it's going to be protein and vegetables, and a little carb here and there, but we meaning vegetable fruits, okay? And I'm talking berries, not. So we know that that is what we're going to do, guys. We're going to make our own snacks, especially if you're a snacker like I am. We're going to make our own snacks. Um, I can link some of the videos that I watched for you. But if I scroll on TikTok. If you scroll on TikTok and just like chickpea recipes, I'm telling you, it'll blow your mind. But let's be encouraged. I just took the time to really talk about this because it has been a devastating process for me. It literally has made me feel like an absolute failure, and it has transitioned a lot throughout areas in my life, unknowingly or knowingly. You don't want to go out, you don't feel good in your clothes, so you don't feel like, you like your body and want to be seen, and it's all that stuff. It is all that. It plays a devastating role on your psyche. And for those of you who are like myself, who are going through this process, let's be encouraged and let's find better ways to eat what we like in a healthier way. So if this did encourage you, inspired you in any way, comment below and subscribe so that you can see whatever I upload or hear whatever I upload. But I thank you so much for listening, for being here, and the time that you spent with me. Let's be still and know. Thanks.